Welcome to Subramani. I have been making videos on mistakes investors make, mistakes mutual fund investors make, mistakes equity investors make, and today I am trying to make an attempt on retirement mistakes which people make. As you welcome to Subramani. I've been making videos on mistakes which mutual fund investors make, which equity investors make, and today it is the turn of retirees mistakes, right? The mistakes which retirees make. The first mistake in all of the people's investment process is not having proper goals. For example, most retirees do not know why they have accumulated so much money. Let me just explain what it means. They have accumulated an X amount which could be much more than what they need, but they also think they have to live frugally so they can live maximum amount for the children. It is not that I want to leave the residual for the children, it is I want to leave the maximum amount possible for the children. My father left me 3 lakhs, so I have to leave them 3 crores or some such logic. I don't understand the logic. Anyway, they're going to leave them a house. And they are going to leave them the money, so how does it matter how much you leave? So first step is wrong goals. Not knowing how much money you have is the step one, which means many of them do not have an idea of their total portfolio. So calculate your net worth as the step one. See all your assets, all your liabilities. Presumably at retirement in India at least, people don't carry any liabilities. So enumerate your total assets and find out the amount of assets lying in different asset classes. I have seen, hold your breath, people who are say 75, 76 years of age having a net worth of 70, 80 lakhs and living in a house costing about 3 crores or a market value of 3 crores. It may cost them 6 lakhs to buy it or 7 lakhs to buy it. This is the kind of, and therefore they feel constrained about the cash flow that they have, which is true. You have to be worried that 70 lakhs is too small, but you also have to be worried that why are you living in a house costing 3 crores when your net cash, when your net worth in terms of cash is only 70 lakhs. Is it possible for you to shift to a house which is 1.5 crores and put 1.5 crores in the bank and improve your cash flow? Because what you need is cash flow. So I'm sorry, I'm digressing. So step number one, have your goals very clear. Say how much you have, how much you're going to spend on yourself, and how much you're going to leave to your children, and understand that leaving money for your children is an impact of you not spending. Don't force yourself to do that, but have your goals written down. That can be a very good first step for you to start. Don't make the mistake of not having clear goals. The second mistake in retiree portfolios that I see is making an improper time horizon requirement. When people look around themselves, they don't understand how long a person can live. Now there is this woman who got widowed at the age of 67 or 68. Husband was quite much older than her. He must have been close to 80. There were 10-12 years age gap. So when she was 67, I remember her telling me, I don't think I will live another 10 more years. We had just gone to their house and then she said, I don't think I'll live more than 10 years. She has now lived 34 years. She turned 100 already, 100 already. 34 years in widowhood, living in a foreign country. I don't want to name the country. And completely cut off from her siblings, etc. Nobody travels. It's a cold place. Obviously her siblings are also old. Her nieces, nephews are not really exactly sprightly chicken, right? So her son married somebody out of caste. She can't speak Hindi. She's a Tamilian, so she struggled. So this comes from the fact that don't underestimate the impact of longevity on your portfolio. Even if you go wrong by 10 years, it can be dramatically traumatic for you to have gone that wrong. So if you think that you're going to live till 85, please plan till 95. assuming your wife is 5 years younger and you're a man watching this, the chances are your wife will live long. So even assuming you die at the age of 90, which means your estimated time was 5 years wrong, but your wife could live to the age of 100, which means your estimate was 15 years wrong. So don't underestimate the impact of longevity on your portfolio, which leads us to the next one. Therefore, if there is going to be longevity, you will need to worry about inflation. If you retired at 58 and died at 62, you didn't really have to worry too much about inflation. The average age at which people are dying is increasing, and as you live longer, the probability of you living till a longer age is there. For example, if you're 90, your life expectancy is no longer 82, right? It is already 95. You will have to go and take the actuarial tables in India, you have to take the actuarial tables in US and find some kind of a median and say, okay, I am upper class Indian, I'm rich Indian, I have facilities of health, so I might live much longer. So anticipating that is very important, which most people don't. Most of us underestimate the impact of longevity on our portfolio and therefore the impact of inflation on our portfolio. Don't make that mistake. It can be very expensive. Then the other mistake is hiring advisors who do not understand enough about managing a portfolio of a retired person or a retiring person, right? So that can be a big issue, because if this person does not have the experience, you've got the wrong advisor. So getting a wrong advisor can be very, very expensive in terms of the damage that can happen. So make sure that the person whom you are hiring is got some ability to manage you and your money during your old age. So somebody should be within a striking distance of your age, rather than, I mean, you can't go to a 28-year-old or a 25-year-old and say, will you manage my retirement money? That person may just not be capable of managing that money. So be careful about whom you hire, because the hiring a wrong advisor can be very, very expensive, not in terms of fees. Of course, it can be expensive in terms of fees also, but it can be very expensive in terms of damage that person can do to your portfolio. So if that person is not acting in your interest, either knowingly or unknowingly, you have to be alert to that. Investing abroad makes sense for many of us simply because Indian markets are good, are doing very well. Therefore, you need to diversify, right? So this year maybe the US will start doing well, because last year US did very badly. So when the market goes down, it's a great time to be entering. China did go down and had a V-shaped recovery. So US could have a V-shaped recovery, or it's already recovered a lot of the tech losses which it had made. So you need to understand that you have to have a reasonably balanced portfolio with little money abroad also. But maybe by the time you're 75, you bring back that money and put it into some annuity or things like that. That brings me to another mistake, is relying too much on annuity, right? You can rely a lot on your pension. If it's a central government pension, if it's an army pension, there is OROP, so it will be indexed to inflation. You have nothing to worry. There are a lot of women I know who are now in their 70s and 80s who are getting 1,25,000 kind of pension simply because of indexing, but indexation. Now, will it always continue to happen? We do not know. But if you don't have any government pension, you need to provide for inflation and longevity. It's a deadly combination, right? Another big mistake is not being able to understand the tax implication of withdrawing from a portfolio. It is always better to have a systematic withdrawal instead of going for a dividend plan. It is tax efficient, and in the systematic withdrawal, you can decide how much you want. So suppose you are unable to decide, then if you are unable to decide how much you need to withdraw for your retirement, start withdrawing a small amount, maybe 15,000 rupees a month. Then you realize that 15,000 is too less. Then you continue that 15,000 on say the 5th of the month, and if you run out of money by the 23rd or 24th, then you withdraw another 5,000. So you can do two systematic withdrawals of 15,000 and 5,000, maybe from two different fund houses, maybe from two different schemes, maybe 15,000 from your debt scheme and 5,000 from your equity scheme, especially when the equity is doing well, right? Any of these combinations. So if you do not know how much cash you need, it will take 3 months, 4 months to learn it, right? So don't confuse income flow and cash flow. What you need is cash flow, you don't need income flow. So it is possible that your money, when you're withdrawing, a part of your capital is being withdrawn, but that is a more tax efficient way. So learning about taxation, learning about inflation, learning about how to withdraw, from where to withdraw, right? That bucket theory which I have spoken about many times is to say, should you withdraw only from liquid, or should you also withdraw from gold? Should you also withdraw from equity? Right? Knowing how much money to keep in each bucket and how much to withdraw from each bucket, when to withdraw, all this is important, and keeping your taxation in mind, and keeping clubbing provisions in mind. It is perfectly possible that if you want to transfer money to your spouse, you're a male who is watching, and you have a grown-up son who is earning, the best thing for him to do would be to give a gift to his mother. And you can always compensate him by paying that money to him for buying a house or things like that, and he uses that to gift to your wife, and therefore the clubbing provision is avoided. So understanding taxation, understanding how to do, understanding that some money can be kept in your grandchildren's name, give it away right now, when they are going to use it for their education. Imagine for the rest of his life he is going to say, I went to an Ivy League school because my grandfather had done an SIP in my name when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, 2 years old, whatever. So using your money to create heirlooms and all, that is fine, but provided you know your goal very clearly. I've got 5 crores, I think 2 crores I will use up for my retirement, 3 crores plus whatever is the growth will go to my daughter. Any of this stuff, but the clarity, which is step number 1, saying how much money you have, which is your net worth, why you want to use it in a particular way, how you want to use it in a particular way, all this should be clear in your mind, and lot of clarity is something which you get when you start writing. So start writing down, and that's a good place to begin. Thank you.